Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I just have a quick kind of short haul that I had recently. So first things first, and one thing that I'm really excited about, and I know there's been a lot of creators that have talked about this new release from Concord and Ninth, but they just released 25? Yes, 25 new colors. I have been waiting for them to release more colors, and I was always hoping that they would, because their first release was just delicious, and so this next one is even better. I have them all here. They came in this little, they came in a little box, and they actually came with labels for all of their colors, not just the new ones, and I really appreciate that. I don't actually store them to where you can see them. This is how I actually store them. But the labels are really nice to have should I end up changing how I store them. But they have all these new beautiful colors, and I'm going to end up swatching them in a few minutes. But they actually came out with a like a color swatching set. They had cardstocks and inks all in coordinating colors, refills for everything. So it is a really beautiful, beautiful release. So this one is new. I think the sweet pea is new. The carnation is new. The briar rose is new. Ballet slipper they had before, I think. Maybe not. Yeah, they did have that one before. So just several new colors, lots of new greens, several new purples, a few new blues, and some more kind of neutrals. The pebble, cobstone, and nutmeg are new. The powder, harbor, blueberry, fig, grape soda, lilac, that's all new. The juniper and artichoke avocado. I think the sunflower is new. The cayenne, spice cider, and clementine are new. The nectar's new. The dragon fruit, sweet pea, carnation, briar rose, and pink lemonade are all new. Just a really beautiful release, and I will go through and swatch them and put them in my little coin storage pockets that I picked up an idea from Jennifer McGuire on how to kind of swatch them and store them so that whenever you need a quick reference on colors, you've got it there. So that's the first thing that I bought. I'm not going to color swatch these on camera because I don't want to bore you to tears, but that's the first thing that I got. I'm pretty excited about using those. Like I said, they're one of my favorite ink lines. Another thing that I got was the Hero Art Scrubber block and some replacement pads. So you've seen me clean my stamps using a flour sack cloth, which works fine. But I've discovered that sometimes when I use that, it leaves behind little hairs. And sometimes those hairs stick to my stamps and they transfer onto whatever project I'm working on. And so I wanted to give this a try just to kind of see. I know that there are like lint-free, I guess you could say, cloths out there. And I used those in the past, but they always got smelly. And you always had to kind of wash them by themselves to keep them lint-free. And I just really wanted to try this out. I think this will work well for me. And it says you can use water, but I'm just going to use the homemade ink scrubber that I made. So that's one thing that I got. This was out of stock for quite some time, and when it finally came back in stock, I just made an order and got them both. I'm excited to use those, and you'll see this in upcoming videos with me using the scrubber block and replacement pads. And speaking of the replacement pads, they weren't that expensive, but my guess is that this is going to last for quite some time, and that you could probably even wash these like just with soap and water and make them last even longer. I haven't tried that, and I haven't seen anybody else try that, but this is fairly new, a fairly new product, so I don't know if anybody's gotten to that point yet, but I imagine you could wash this out with like gentle soap and water and be fine, and this would be all the pads you would ever need, but I could be wrong. We'll have to test that out. So one of the things that I got that is not kind of a tool, I guess you could say, is this. So this is the Wonderful Tulips foil plate, die, and the stencil. Jennifer McGuire used this. I think this came out in like March, and she used this and she made shaped cards with it. And I think that was beautiful, and I love tulips. I'm a sucker for tulips, so I look forward to using this. There are several stencils in here, and I'm excited to use it with the foil plate and without, because I think these stencils you can use. Sometimes you get stencils and they don't make like a complete image without the stamp or the foil plate, but these stencils do. So you'd get kind of like a no-line coloring look, which I think would be very beautiful. And I look forward to making some cards for some nursing home residents and things like that that are shaped. I think those would be very beautiful, and I really look forward to doing that. I've been wanting to get this for a long time, and it was out of stock for a long time. So that's another thing that I got right as it came back in stock. So that Notify Me site or page is really handy. So I know if you've watched my previous videos, you know that I said I would never buy these. I had been using a little like square or rectangle section of a like shelf liner, and that was working great. I had no intention of buying this until for somehow, somewhere, I accidentally threw it away, I assume, because I have not been able to find it in forever. And so I decided that I would just go ahead and buy one of these. I like the color, and it'll keep my larger ink pads from skipping around everywhere. So I did break down and buy it. Like I said, I know I told you guys I never would, but when I lost that other one, I was like, well, we're going to bite the bullet. We're going to get it. And we're going to get it in this really pretty teal color because I like it. So one of the things that I've seen people use this for, not only to like hold their ink pads and keep it from skipping around on their desk, but you can use this, since it's silicone, you can use it to put hot things on. I have a glass surface, so that's not really a big deal. But if you didn't, if you had a surface that was not resistant to heat, you can always heat things on this, and that's really handy. The other side, I've seen where people clean their blending brushes. I don't ever really clean my blending brushes, as far as like getting them wet with soap and water and having them dry out and that kind of thing. I just kind of rub them clean on a dry cloth or a scrap piece of paper, and that suffices for me. But if there ever came a time where I did need to actually scrub them clean, I would be able to use this to do that. That's just some of the ways that I've seen other people use this tool. But for me, its main purpose is going to be to hold down ink pads and keep them from skittering all over the place. So I did actually break down and buy one, and I'm not mad about it. The other thing that I got was this. Again, this is another one of those things that was like, I'm never going to use this. I don't need this. This is just a expense that I don't need, blah, blah, blah. Now, I'll tell you the reason why I did actually break down and buy this. So I have discovered I have a Spellbinders Platinum, not a Platinum 6, but a Platinum. So I have the big one. And I have been trying to use embossing folders a lot more. And I have discovered that I have to do a lot of figuring and a lot of fiddling to get the right pressure for the embossing folder to work. And I have discovered that I either have too much pressure and it won't go through at all, and I don't want to break my machine, or I don't have enough pressure and I end up like spending an exorbitant amount of time trying to get the embossing to look like I want it to look, and to get the impression that I want it to have. And so Spellbinders was having a sale, and I decided that I would go ahead and purchase that. And I think this is going to save me a lot of time. I don't have to sit there and fiddle and put in 8 different shims and paper shims and cardstock shims and try to figure it out. This just tells you exactly what plates to use for whatever you're trying to accomplish, whether you're trying to die cut, whether you're trying to emboss with an embossing folder or a 3D embossing folder, a regular one, a stencil, a die, whatever it may be that you're trying to emboss with. This tells you everything, and it tells you everything on the plates themselves, which is very, very handy. So I did break down and buy this. Again, I think it's just going to save me some time and some heartache trying to figure things out on my own and add, makeshift shims on my own. So I think this will be a good tool for me to have. But it was kind of I wanted to buy more stamps or more dies or more, that kind of stuff. I didn't necessarily want to buy a tool. You know what I mean? And this is not necessarily cheap. I did get it when it was on sale, but it's still not necessarily like a cheap item. But I do think I'm going to appreciate it once I get using it, just for the fact that I don't have to do all the figuring. The figuring's done for me. So I did purchase that. The other thing that I purchased was this. I had seen somebody use this, and I was like, I don't even know what that's for. Like, why would you need that? And it came in this nice bag, and I think I'm going to actually keep this bag. I usually throw away packaging because it's just how I am, but I think I'm going to actually keep this bag. But I did purchase this. So I've told you in previous videos, I don't have like an unlimited amount of space. And so I have very few full-size stamp pads. In fact, the only full-size ink pads that I have are things like embossing inks and black inks, the Distress Oxides, and then the Simon Says Stamp Positively Saturated inks. Those are the only ink pads that I have that are full-size. Everything else is the mini ink cubes. And then Catherine Poolers are, kind of rectangle shaped, but they're smaller. And so obviously those won't work in here, but like the Concord and Ninth inks I just purchased, those would work in here. And so you can fit 8 inks with their lid, or you can fit 16 ink pads. So, and it's designed to kind of attach to the corner of your glass mat. I don't think you can see that. Nope, you can't. But it's designed to kind of attach to the corner of your glass mat or your whatever surface you're working on. It is silicone, so again, it's not going to shift around. And it holds quite a few. And I'm excited to use this because, again, like I can use that Positively Everything tool, but this is going to contain them better. And I kind of look forward to using this. I wish they would come out with other colors, and they probably will. But this is really great, and I'm excited to use this. And I think this is good for me because I do have so many ink cubes as opposed to full-size ink pads. So there are full-size ink pad holders. The companies that have them escape my mind right now, but like I said, I really don't have very many full-size ink pads. So this is a better option for me. And again, I can always attach it to the corner of my glass board here, and it won't go anywhere. So I do appreciate that. So that is another tool that I got. This haul is heavy on tools, not necessarily like dies and stamps and fun things. One of the other fun things that I did get outside of that tulip die and stamp was this 6x8 paper pad from Simple Stories. I don't usually buy paper pads from like Simon or other stamp companies. Most of the time, the paper pads that I get come from Hobby Lobby, just because they have 12x12 options. And when I make things like notebooks and journals and things like that, I need a bigger paper size. But I absolutely loved, 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 loved the papers in this pad. I thought they were so beautiful. And so I just had to, and I loved the color combination. I just thought they were so beautiful. They are double-sided. So for me, I don't really use papers that are graphic like this, or meant to be kind of like a focal point. I actually don't use those very often. You could actually cut this one down and make a card out of it. That would be cool. I just not thought of that, but they are double-sided. And so I just loved the colors in this set. You know, this would be something you could frame and put in your room, in your craft room, or this would be good for a girl to have framed in her room just as a reminder. But like I said, I can always use that opposite side because, like I said, I don't know that I would use this personally, but I could definitely use the opposite side. So just a beautiful pad of pattern papers that I could make, you know, card bases from, or accents on cards. Be your beautiful self. Like, again, I don't think that I would ever use this, but the opposite side is beautiful, and it's actually a repeat, just a smaller pattern of this one. So just a really beautiful set. There are 3x5 or 3x4 little, oh, what are these called? Oh goodness, it's escaping my mind, folks. Thinking is hard. Anyway, you could always cut these down and make them into accents on a journal or a notebook. Here's another sheet, but again, the opposite side. So, and then it repeats itself. So you get 2 of each sheet, each pattern. I just really thought it was beautiful. I really liked the style. I loved the colors. I just thought it was really beautiful. So I did kind of break my own rule and get some paper that wasn't from Hobby Lobby. So anyway, that is just a quick little haul that I have. I appreciate you spending time with me today. I hope you have a good day. And we will see you in the next video. Bye.